I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on the Crypto Coin Show we have DeShone Kizer, founder of One of None. DK, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time today.
Appreciate you having me, Ashton.
You're very welcome. It's a fascinating backstory, and I'm so glad that you've seen the light in how Web3 can revolutionize the world and how this technology has taken the world by storm. But let's start from the beginning. Being a quarterback in the NFL, moving to a blockchain founder, it's quite the transition. I'd love to hear a little bit on your backstory and how you've evolved to this point.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I spent the last 5 years in the NFL. Before that was at the University of Notre Dame, and went to biz school there, studied finance, so kind of always had a business forward mind and an entrepreneurial mind. But ultimately, in quarantine, just like a lot of people, kind of looked in the mirror and just evaluated my career. I'd been on 4 teams in 4 years at the time, and really wanted to think about what life after ball may look like, and decided to lean into a bit of a problem that I was seeing in the limited edition world. As you can see behind me, I'm an avid shoe collector. I was signed with Brand Jordan when I was in the NFL, and had the privilege to get all those highly collectible J's. A lot of collaborations, a lot of cool items came out when I was with the brand, and quickly realized that there was this disconnect between the primary market and the secondary market of these limited edition sneakers. And by that, I mean, you have Brand Jordan that focuses in on driving demand through scarcity and creating so much, hype around their sneakers in the primary market, yet the value of the sneaker was found in a market that they didn't play in, and that being the market of StockX and GOAT and eBay, so on and so forth. So I wanted to explore ways to help brands and creators that focus in on limited edition products in the physical space, to allow them to gain access to the lifetime value of their limited edition products. Ultimately landed on blockchain as obviously a very, very advantageous at the time. 2 years ago, everyone wanted to throw it in their mission statement. So we definitely wanted to do that from the beginning, but then also after spending a lot of time with the technology, realized that it's a really unique way for us now to track physical products by using an on-chain representation in the form of an NFT of that physical good. So kind of fell into blockchain with already a problem in mind, which allowed my exploration to be pretty narrow and focused, and now consider myself a full DJ.
Amazing, and yeah, that's quite the collection back there. And I'm not a shoe collector myself, but I've seen the StockX and the secondary markets, and it's crazy how much things can go for, but also sort of how unorganized and how unfair it can be as well. And I feel like there is definitely a gap there for blockchain to solve some of these problems, make it more fair, and make a better business out of it. And I love that you studied finance in college, and I did as well. And then you found that the entrepreneur's journey, where it was something that you're passionate about, and then all of a sudden you see there's a business solution that needs to be had here to make this better. And from what I've been reading into, you're working on this so far, you're getting up at 4 or 5 a.m. every day, focused specifically on solving this, and there's a lot of dedication to that. Can you talk about your journey of starting One of None, and how long your team's been working on it?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we the first idea of One of None was your stereotypical startup moment in my parents' garage. That was the spring of 2020. Whiteboard sesh, string of lines. My mom still has it, so we're hopefully get that frame one day once this thing gets off the ground, gets rolling here. But so from there, I spent the first year really just researching the market, understanding how people are authenticating products to date, understanding where the demand is coming from when it comes to the growing resale market, and quickly realized that there was a lot of data and a lot of statistics that were pointing towards this fact that currently the resale market is growing at a higher rate than the primary market in most industries, and by that specifically luxury goods, you're seeing the resale market to grow at 4 times the primary. So there was clearly a problem there to be solved, and from there got my head down and really started to think about different ways to solve it. To be honest, the first iteration of what we're building, the first idea, had nothing to do with blockchain. It was about a Web2 platform that was going to be for collectors, where they could show off their collections. join forums, join discussions, and ultimately, hang out on the same marketplace that they initially bought the product on. And then from there, being able to provide a means of secondary exchange so that they could exchange it in the secondary market on the same platform that they bought it in the primary. It wasn't until we found blockchain that we really felt like we had something that was really transformative, where you now can take that authentication layer and that proof of authenticity that we all know to be very powerful in the Web3 space, and bring it to the physical world. So from that, I spent most of 2020, or the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, becoming a DeShone, as I mentioned, getting into as many discords, collecting as many NFTs as I could, and really learning, where that market is and where that collector is, to see how we can, bridge some of the standards that were set in an NFT world over to the physical collectible space. Got to, the summer of last year, June of last year, did a big community launch event at NFT NYC. Was a really big success for us, and since then I've been running a bunch of beta tests on a marketplace found on our website, in which we focus in on a bunch of high-end one-of-one art pieces, some collectibles, a little bit of fashion, but really excited for what's to come here in 2023, and really thinking about trying to take a lot of that technology and spin it into white label middleware to bring right to the brand themselves.
Very cool, DeShone. And yeah, I was looking through the One of None platform, and I saw that there's like a bunch of collections already, and it's not just shoes. I'm curious on how you're envisioning expanding this out into the different types of collectibles, whether it's fashion or if it's into sports, and people collect all different kinds of things. So where's the limit and where's the focus?
Yeah, for us at launch of the product, education is our number one goal, especially throughout the initial rollout of the marketplace. And the best way that we've found to educate collectors on a physical asset that can maintain its value over time, the same way we know the NFT market to do, was to focus in on something like art, something that we, whether you're an avid art collector or not, you understand that subjective value that comes along with art pieces, and ultimately understand that purchasing art, especially originals directly from the artist, is an opportunity to look at it as an asset that's going to appreciate over time. So we really went art heavy, art focused, and really dove into a market that can really bridge some of the Web3 creators that are out there. Thinking of the Amber Vittorias, the Terry Urbans, the Blake Jamesons, some of these digital artists that have really successful NFT projects that exist, and bridging them back over to the physical space to bring their Web3 collectors over, but then also introducing some traditional physical artists into the Web3 space by talking to people like the Ghost and Seek1, who are now bringing their physical goods over to the digital. So we really focused there. Another big element for us within art was that we could do one-of-one items, and the infrastructure layer that it takes, the vaulting layer that it takes for us to maintain a relationship between the digital and the physical and authenticate over time, really requires us to have a very high-touch experience with the goods, to be able to authenticate them, to chip them, and then ultimately to condition report them in and out of the vault takes a lot. So that's where art started. But for now, in terms of that limitless nature of this, and bringing this authentication standard towards other product types, it's really now taking all those learnings that we have within the art space, and the chipping and the RFIDing and the authentication and the condition reporting, and now bringing that down to lower price point goods. Thinking the sneakers, the collectibles, the high fashion, the bags, in which we now can do that and alongside the creator, and something that's, as I mentioned before, something that's white labeled, something that is found on that creator, on that brand's platform, where it can be something that feels authentic, something that feels tasteful, and ultimately brings an on brand resale experience right to the luxury goods partners we have.
That's amazing to hear, and it definitely adds a little bit more complexity when from selling a piece of art digitally to actually creating a physical version of it, and then tying that into the digital footprint of it for tracking and tracing and all these other purposes. From what I understand, one of the best benefits for the creators and the artists is through the blockchain technology, getting a royalties or a cut or a tracing of the items when they go through the secondary market and so on. Is that one of the main benefits for the artists on One of None, or what are some of the other benefits of the collectors that release these products physically and they do it through One of None?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's where this whole thing started, was really a resale problem. Once again, an immensely growing, everlasting growing resale market that exists out there. Growing to $218 billion by 2026 is projected to. The goal was to help these creators, get a piece of that, and rather than allowing these peer-to-peer platforms and curated resale marketplaces benefit off the heels of their creations, let's allow them to, have a connection to their resale collector. So yes, that's where the main thing starts. That's where the main benefit lies, is in that resale royalty that we can provide via smart contracts. But what we've really gotten excited about, and where my exploration within NFTs over the last year and a half or so has really pointed towards is this concept of future-proofing today's limited edition drops. For us right now, we really focus in on new products that we can be there from the inception, so that we can place an RFID chip and can guarantee authenticity in a secondary market alongside the creator. And with those new products, the concept of bringing that physical good on chain, and while it does once again start with resale, it now unlocks the opportunity for any decentralized app on top of whatever blockchain they use to be able to provide benefits to those collectors over time. So whether that's DeFi solutions for lending and fractionalization, or Metaverse integrations, being able to show off those assets in different worlds, or discounts and rewards and tickets. That ability now for the creator to stay connected to that collector in the secondary market is brand new. So we're really think that we're pioneering from a creator standpoint, from a brand standpoint, a really unique opportunity to build community around their limited edition products, but more importantly, maintain that connection and have that line of communication to a collector who, before the blockchain, before a model like this, they would never have access to.
Okay, that's great to know. And I'm guessing you see this this market as pretty early opportunity. Obviously, the resale and collectibles have been around for centuries, but digitizing it and improving upon this, it's only really started in the last couple years here, and I feel like a very small percentage of collectibles are actually being tokenized. How quickly do you think this industry is going to start moving onto the blockchain?
I think that it's on the rise. I think that 2023, while there's a lot of other emerging technologies that everyone's getting excited about, from AI and other technologies like that, I think that in the Web3 space and blockchain, as an infrastructural layer to track things that are today, things that are approachable to the masses, is going to be something that is going to be a big trend for this year. We've seen just in the last 4 or 5 months a lot of players who are popping up in the space, mostly from the secondary market, mostly bringing already existing products that may be sitting on shelves or sitting in attics or in warehouses, trying to bring those on chain. And while I believe that is an unbelievable case study and a great solution and a great use case for blockchain, and for us, our position within that world that's being created in the secondary market is to stay away from some of the authentication issues that may come from bringing a product that has already been launched into play for us. So by us focusing in on the creator and maintaining that creator down approach, not only can we guarantee 100% authenticity, but now we truly get the total lifetime value of that good, rather than some of the missing pieces that may be along the provenance of a piece if that product came in from the secondary market.
Yeah, that's a great point, DK. Especially more recent collectibles. If it hasn't been on the blockchain in the primary market, like how do you prove that this name brand art is real? Because if people could be bringing knockoff kind of brand shoes into the platform and try to authenticate them and sell them on the secondary market.
You got it, Ashton. You think that's exactly what we see. We see a world in which as we continue to move into the metaverse, and as these hybrid or phygital or whatever word you want to give this new market we're in, as these products continue to come to the market, we want One of None to be synonymous with the brand. By that meaning, as you mentioned, if I'm in my favorite metaverse, 5 years from now, and I'm wearing a watch, and I'm trying to show off my watch, there's no telling right now whether or not that watch was purely digital, whether that watch was connected to a physical, and then even worse, whether or not, if it was connected to a physical, was it a physical that someone bought on Canal Street in New York, and that was a knockoff, or was it a physical that comes with the box and papers? And we really want one of none as a brand. If you see that logo or see one of our smart contracts existing out in the metaverse, it means that this physical good is truly connected back to the original brand, and from there, maintain that relationship over time.
Great point. And with the metaverse, there was a lot of hype around metaverses last year as NFT sales were skyrocketing alongside the price of Bitcoin and all the cryptocurrencies. But the technology itself still seems fairly infant, at least the graphics or the gameplay, or wanting to go in the metaverse for more than a few hours without getting tired, or all these other limitations. However, I feel like creating these collectibles, which can be used in that technology, a lot of people might not understand the value until the metaverse blows up. And I feel like that's exactly what collectors do, is they buy collectibles, looking at even like Pokemon, for example. In the 90s, they held on to all the Pokemon decks, and then 30 years later, all of a sudden they're selling for tens of thousands. And those people had that foresight in mind. And I feel like that would be the same for this kind of phygital fashion and art, that although the metaverse isn't really here yet, when it is, these are going to be the legit digital assets that can be used in the metaverse, and the people that are collecting them now are the smart ones.
You got it. You're talking our language. The metaverse is here, like whether we like it or not. I think that this, in a way, this Zoom conversation that we're having right now is obviously a layer of the metaverse. But as we think about blockchain and powering this new, gaming interface. I think that just in the partnerships and discussions that we're having to date, it's getting faster. GPUs are getting higher. It's going to be able to come through a browser pretty seamlessly very soon, and more importantly, be a choice to the customer. I think that to date, as we think about the mass adoption that's needed for the metaverse, I think the first image that everyone comes to mind is something like Ready Player One, where we all put our goggles in and eat our Doritos. We're so addicted to that space. But I think that what the metaverse really will become is just this Z access to a computer or to a browser, that really once again becomes a choice to the collector if they want to experience that way. And as our generation that kind of grew up on the internet, and the generations below us continue to experience gaming and experience the internet, they'll probably choose that option more often than not. For us, as you mentioned, we do not see this crypto winter, this market correction, the negative news that may come out in this more recent time as anything that's deterring us from the much needed solution of bringing some of these high quality, ultra limited edition products on chain. We really believe in blockchain as an infrastructure. There's still quite a few builders that are out there that haven't even come close to announcing what's to come within our world. And we think that by simply helping brands and helping creators bridge these products on chain, all we're doing is giving them the opportunity to be there when the next big thing comes out, when that next ride to the top happens.
I'm looking forward to it. And speaking of that, what are some of the major initiatives and the growth plans for One of None throughout 2023? Is it just more collectibles or metaverse partnerships, or what else do you have up your sleeve, DK?
Yeah, so the end of 2022, we put together this beta marketplace in which we provided the customer, provided the demand, and really ran a two-sided business, helping creators launch these products, but then also obviously creating an interface for a consumer to come and purchase the product. We're wrapping up a lot of that beta testing, learned a lot from it, got all of our systems in place, and ultimately built a dashboard that makes it really easy for our creators to take a streamlined workflow to be able to build out the hybrid. What we're most excited about moving into 2023 is now, rather than that product after it becomes hybrid and gets brought on chain, getting launched through our marketplace. We really believe that a big part of the disconnect in the resale market lies in the fact that luxury goods brands can't really build an on-brand experience and an authentic experience if their products are being exchanged on things like eBay and things like StockX and Go. Really, eBay is the community builder. They're the ones who have the relationships to the secondary market or StockX or Go, et cetera, et cetera. And what we're most excited about moving in 2023 is this concept of a vault portal, a portal for our creators to build a branded experience, something that they can control, something that has their colors and fonts, their buttons, their images, and truly becomes an experience that they now can bridge their collectors into the space thoughtfully and in an approachable manner. So from auto-generated crypto wallets that can go behind an account for someone who doesn't have, who isn't crypto native, to fiat on-ramps. Our goal is to really make this concept of building out your own vault of your most rare pieces as easy as seamless for a creator as possible, so that we can start to meet the physical collector where they are. Amazing.
Looking forward to it. And if you're looking to follow along with future drops and the updates for the vault, is it all on the website, or are you guys using social platforms? And what's the best way for people to stay connected?
Yeah, #OneOfNone_IO. That goes across Twitter as well as Instagram. Have a YouTube channel they're getting ready to roll out. Have some big media pushes that we're getting ready to make from a podcasting and video perspective as well. So across all socials, we're #OneOfNone_IO.
Sounds great, DK. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm looking forward to seeing the next collections launch, and I'll follow along for the platform updates. I'll also leave the links in the description below for One of None, the platform, and the socials that you just mentioned as well. I'm looking forward to it all, and let's follow up in the near future.
Sounds good. Appreciate you, Ashton. Have a great one.